find out. Everybody knows what they like, what their tastes are, physical and figurative, and go after that. Seek that, whether it be the podcast or something online that you can listen to or read. Books are huge. Even if you're reading 5 pages a day, is read something uplifting and spiritual. Because I also had a great bedtime routine. The thing is,
hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Paul GENCARELLA Jr. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. Please help me welcome Paul with Mindset Mastery. This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
Looking back on my life, I'm 52 years old. I would say, I've had a very charmed life, but there were some spots in my life, specifically in 2018 to 2020, which was very grim, and it was not easy at all. And there was some challenges, and I can certainly get into that down the road. But I would say, for the most part, I've been a charmed life, and that's on purpose. You know what I mean? That's mindset too. You know what I mean? That's what you focus on, and that's a key component of living a happy life.
We get into the thing of talking about mindset and mindset shifts. I mean, there's individuals out there who may say, man, that's a bunch of baloney. What's your thought on that, and how would you deal with that?
I would agree with it. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of baloney if that's what you think it is. But my point is, I felt that way. I did. I said, that's crazy, mindset. You know what I mean? I've had a good mindset. Negative things are happening. But it truly, once you get a grasp on it, it relates to the universal laws. Work in conjunction with the laws, you are in harmony. For example, if you drive on the interstate, and you drive in conformity of the law and you don't speed, you don't really get a speeding ticket, right? It's the same thing in that respect. If you want to drive 100, 105 miles an hour down the interstate, you're taking your chances. So when it comes to life, what you think about, what you speak, the way you act, whatever goes out will come back in the same form. It's a universal law. It's a universal law of cause and effect. They're just working within their environments. You know what I mean? They're growing up in poverty. They expect to be in poverty. You know what I mean? They're growing up with bad luck. They're expecting to have continued bad luck. And that's more or less what the fixed is. But, the growth mindset is really going after what you want. And again, with that, there's a lot of bumps and bruises with that. You know what I mean? When you're trying to be better at a sport, you're going to be taking some licks. It's not going to be easy. So you have to understand that you have to have some growth from your failure, so to speak. It's like failing your way to success, so to speak.
I want you to do this. I want you to talk to that individual. That's someone listening right now that stumbled upon this interview on today, and they grew up in a bad environment. And so that's all they know. That's all they know. And hearing, mastering your mindset and all these different things, to them, they can't even fathom that thought in their mind because of their current experience and what they experience around them and their environment and all that. I want you to speak to that individual that's in that situation right now. What advice would you give to that individual?
Yeah, you bring up a great insight, Cedric, because there's not just that one individual, right? You know what I mean? There's so many of them out there. And, what transpired in my life, and really what transformed my life, was getting a particular book or books and start reading on self-help, self-improvement, mindsets, and find something there. And if reading is not your forte, well, the internet has such great resources.
Amazing. Yeah.
One being social media with YouTube. You can find countless people to provide a message that can resonate with you. It doesn't have to be from Paul Gencarella, but it can be from the author that Paul Gencarella studies, like a Bob Proctor or a Tony Robbins or a Jim Rohn or a Les Brown. These are people that are dynamic and can really bring out the best in someone, and that's what I would say to that person that's kind of skeptical or really struggling with their life right now. By having a passion, a goal, something outrageous, something that you can't possibly imagine of having, get excited about that.
Yeah.
But what I would also couple that with, every single day of your life, write down 10 things that you're grateful for, truly grateful for. It could be the flavor of your toothpaste. It could be that simple. It could be a cup of coffee. It could be a kiss from a loved one, a pet from a dog, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. Maybe you pet the dog. but you know where I'm coming from. Little things like that, those little things make the big changes. So that's where you really have to buckle down and start doing those little things that are very easy, that may be considered tedious or uneventful, but do those things and you'll start to see your life transforming.
Yeah, we kind of on it right now, but I just want to specifically call it out. And those limiting beliefs, and I want you to kind of explain from your point. What is a limiting belief, and what are some common examples that you see people struggle with?
Limited beliefs really are created in our own mindset, and it's a paradigm. And that paradigm controls our thought pattern. I mean, it's a mental program, a paradigm that has almost exclusive control of our mental behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual in a certain respect. So in order for us to shift those paradigms, we have to change our mindset. Now, I may come across growing up in a middle-class family and thinking I'm capped at a certain part and I'm only going to make 100, 250,000, whatever it may be, or wherever I am as far as capabilities. If I say, I got a terrible memory, what are you telling your memory then? You just have to work on that. You have to practice it. It's like a muscle, your memory. And just like your abilities, it's a practice. And you work at it. No one was a great bike rider when they first started, right? Skateboarder, athlete, a musician, whatever it may be, you have to go through the practice of it all. And those limited beliefs, they don't go away, but you can replace them with mindset beliefs of what you really can accomplish, because it's always going to sneak in, those limited beliefs. No, you can't do that. What are you, crazy? This person can, but you can't. You know what I mean? And that's how we are. We have to improve our self-image, because we can never, and I repeat, never outperform our self-image. There's a self-image that people have of us, and then there's a self-image that we have of ourselves. And sometimes there's stark difference. It really is.
And you know what, Paul, I want to talk about, so just personally on me, and then I wanted you to share something from your experience. And I was in a meeting with several city officials, some people I seen on television or whatever. And I walked in this room and I was so silent, and I didn't open up my mouth or say a word, because deep down inside, I didn't feel like I belonged. And there was just so many things in my head telling me how I don't belong here. Those things from my childhood, things that, I was made fun of, when I was in the third grade and all that. So it's like I got in this place and I kind of froze. From your perspective, do you have any personal stories you want to share with us?
And again, I've gone through that a lot, but that's part of breaking through that terror barrier, that wall that you have to get through to reach the other side of success. Because if not, we just bounce off the wall and come back to where we are already, which is the comfort zone, which really there's no growth there. So, you legged it out month after month or whatever, meeting after meeting. And you know what I mean? You got a little bit more comfortable. You were able to work with it. It's a matter of just mind over matter at that point, going to the meeting first. And then from there, trying to do the best that you can do, even on a sales presentation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't become great as a salesman until you practice.
Yeah.
You got to practice your sales presentation. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Daily. And whatever that sales presentation, I use quotations. It might be your affirmations that you say to yourself.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I am statements in
Yeah.
what you are or what you want to be. Say you are that now.
Yeah.
Say I want to be
Mm.
confident and secure. Say
Yeah.
I am confident
Mm.
and secure. And if
Yeah.
you keep saying that enough to yourself, it'll stop becoming true. Just like if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you'll
You
believe it.
believe it. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, that's how life works. Our goal is not our goal until we achieve it.
Yeah.
But if we go after it and we talk that we're going to achieve it, that's the same thing as a lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no different.
Yeah.
It's just using the positive affirmations to obtain what we want.
Yeah.
And again, this stuff doesn't happen overnight, but it can certainly expedite it a lot quicker overnight, so to speak.
It's interesting you use the word, you say if you believe a lie long enough, you'll start to believe it. It's so amazing to me how in my personal life where I've dealt with individuals like maybe someone when I was younger, someone in my family, they say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. And really they were speaking to their own situation, but they projected on me and I believed it for years. I believed that lie that they told me. And it wasn't even a lie that I created. It was a lie that was created by something else.
And I've looked at folks that have succeeded in coming from nothing, just dire poverty.
Yeah.
And most welfare recipients are third, fourth, fifth generations because that's just the way life is.
Yeah.
And this is how I've grown up. This is how it's going to be. And that's how many households are, whether it's poverty, middle class, or above, in the upper class, because you're a product of your environment as well. So you need to change that environment, so to speak. And it starts with your thinking. It really does. You can stay in that 1-bedroom apartment, but still think that you're in a luxury 12-bedroom home. But it needs to start with your thinking. It has to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And that's how things are made. First from a thought and then from reality. Whether it be a pen or a camera, whatever it may be, it all starts with a thought.
Yeah. Paul, that is a knowledge bomb. Thank you for sharing that. And you've been talking about thinking. So once you get past like saying, okay, I got it, Paul. I need to change my mindset. I need to start reading books. I need to go to seminars. I need to go to conferences. I need to get in environments, mastermind groups, and communities that think like I'm trying to go, and all these different things. So once the individual do that, what would you say the next step?
Yeah, the next, and that's a big step that you just mentioned. There's a lot of things that you mentioned.
Absolutely,
there, but really the biggest investment anyone can make is in themselves. And what does that mean? It means investing in yourself to better you as a person, whatever you want out of life. If you want to be a better reader, well, then take classes on speed reading or whatever it may if you want to get better at basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever it may be, practice that and get into a routine of doing that. Musical instrument, the same thing. Get possessed by it. And get really enamored by it. But I would say the next step is really getting the thought process of investing in myself. We think about paying money for marketing and paying money for this and that. Pay money for ourselves, really and truly. You know what I mean? Whether it be a course online, whether it be a seminar, whatever it may be. Get something that you enjoy or want to do in life and invest in that and have it come back to you to teach you. That's what I would suggest.
I want you to kind of reach back. You talked about 2018 to 2020. So what happened during that time and how did you get over those humps?
Yeah, this is a critical period of time in my life. I wouldn't say at the height of my career in the insurance business. I was in the insurance business since 1994, home, auto, whatever have you. And I was doing well, and I was about to buy the insurance agency from my boss in 2017.
Mm.
And for whatever reason, he wanted more money than I was willing to spend, and usually that's the case, you
Yeah.
know. So I chose not to be upside down for whatever number of years it was going to be. And I said the next best thing to do would to be merged with a bigger outfit, which we did. So we merged with a bigger company, and I was able to get more sales, bigger companies, bigger commissions. I got myself really in a bad way. I got too fanatic
Mm.
with business, and I just turned everything else. And I just started focusing on just sales. Like I was driving down the road, taking pictures of my phone of contractors, trucks and stuff. You know what I mean? So I could
Wow.
call them later.
Yeah.
It was nuts, and it led to me to become. I don't know if I had a chemical imbalance. I was definitely brought on by my own thinking, but I was found myself living in a psychiatric institution
Wow.
in April of 2018 for about 10 days, and that experience was just awful.
Mm.
And the worst experience was coming home because I had to rehabilitate, kind of. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I
Wow.
I, I was diagnosed as bipolar. I had some good highs, but it was just the awful lows, like clinical depression, like
Yeah.
waking up, Cedric, and just thinking of ways I could die
Mm.
uh, that day. You know,
Wow.
oh, I'd love to die in a car crash. You know,
Yes.
just really demented. You
Yeah.
know, but I just wasn't at a point of wanting to kill myself, but I just was so passively suicidal that I just wanted to die because I just wasn't happy. It wasn't something I could just snap out of. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? At that point, that's not the time to treat depression. You
Mm.
treat depression when you're feeling good, and you give
Mm.
yourself resources so you don't get that far
Wow. Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's when you treat depression. You know, you fix the roof when it's sunny, but when it's
Yeah.
sunny, it doesn't need fixing, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. But when it's raining, it's too late to fix the roof. So I really had to kind of work and claw my way back and just finding small wins. And
Mm.
that small wins was doing just what I said, writing 10 things down that I'm happy for and I'm grateful for that day. And again, back then, and I've documented all this, I have it in my journals. I look back on it, it's like, holy cow, you know, I'm glad I didn't kill myself today. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like things like that. And, you know, it's just amazing once you start coming out of that. Just that one exercise had helped me greatly. But there are so many other affirmations and tactics and exercises, physical exercises that you can do that can help with mindset and,
Yeah.
and and anxiety.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's I kind of said earlier I'm crazy. Well,
Mm.
all my friends, you know, I mean, when I came home, you know, they kind of busted my chops, you know, carefully. They didn't know where I was, but they
Yeah.
said, "Well, you always knew you were crazy." You know what I mean? Because I was a crazy guy, I was daredevil. I do crazy things, say
Yeah.
crazy things, you know, but all in good fun. And so now I really believe it's my time now to help other people deal with their challenges. I'm not saying they're a mental illness. It could
Yeah.
be, but it
Yeah.
could be their mental challenges. Just
Yeah.
having a struggling time with this anxiety, stress, balancing everything of life, and how do you do it all? You
Yeah.
know, and I've been there, done that. You know, and I don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah.
What I went through, but it was
That's
a growth. And what I'm saying is, it was grace in suffering.
mm.
God provides grace in every single suffering if we
Yeah.
allow it. But if
Yeah.
I'm bitter and saying, screw you, I don't want to deal with it's not going to get there. I'm not going to find it.
Yeah.
So you have to look for it.
Yeah. Process with you. And the reason why I'm bringing this up because you have people who may get it discouraged because it doesn't change overnight. So what was your experience?
Oh,
How's it?
Cedric, I
Oh,
come back from the psychiatric institution and I'm like so depressed that I just want things to get back to the way they were.
yeah.
So sure enough, I worked myself back. I got number one in the agency sales 1 month in January of 19.
Yeah.
And what happened? A year almost to the day, I found myself back in an institution again, back in
Wow.
a psychiatric institution doing the
Wow.
same thing. So what happens is if you do the same things that you were doing before, you're going to lead to the same things you were getting before.
I'm glad
You
you
know what
shared
I
that.
mean? So, doing the same things and expecting different results, they say, yeah, that's the equation for insanity. Well, you know what I mean? And you have to understand that. So for me, it went from bad to worse because my wife's like, don't worry, you're not going to get, because I was, hypochondriac now thinking I'm going to go back in the psychiatric institute. She's like, no, you're medicated. You're fine. Nope. And I almost willed myself back to that psychiatric institution. So it really took the second time. And then again, it really didn't get much better until the fall. And I say better. I was fired from my job because they probably thought this guy's got, bad baggage or whatever have you. But they said, we got a note from his work that he can come back and return to work. So we're going to fire him. So granted, that didn't sit well. And that was a wrongful termination there. But the point is, I still needed to discover and find myself. And it finally came when I really embraced personal growth and development. And that could be from a book, which it was. It could have been from a YouTube video, which it was. It could have been from mentors, which it was, spiritual and, worldly mentors, all of it. That's just what got me out of it. So January of 2020, I really started to claw my way and just make it a steadfast goal every day to get better. And eventually, I did. And again, do I have setbacks? Of course. But now my awareness is at the point that I don't let the setbacks take me down so far. So now I'm able to bounce back out of that. Again, January of 2020, we were coming down on COVID. And COVID happened to be a great thing for me because then everybody came home in a certain respect. So I wasn't by myself with my thoughts. I'm able to interact with people. But walking the dog was a great physical exercise and a great mental exercise for me because it got me out of the house. It got me seeing neighbors, saying hello to people. And that's what I like. I'm an extroverted type of person. So that was wonderful to me. And one of the things that I did like a social experiment, January of 2020, in my rural neighborhood. The speed limit's like 25 miles an hour. So any car that was in my path coming toward me, oncoming traffic, I would wave to every single one. And I still do it to this day. I have people now waving back to me before I even start waving to them now, because that's how we're neighborly now. And that's how it used to be in the 70s.
That's awesome.
Everyone waved to everybody. And I'm not doing that on like a road that's 45 miles an hour. But my point is, I've conditioned other people now to wave when they see me, and again, I've gotten into some conversation with people because of that. So that's one thing. The other thing is find out, everybody knows what they like, what their tastes are, physical and figurative, and go after that, seek that. Whether it be the podcast or something online that you can listen to or read. Books are huge. Even if you're reading 5 pages a day, is read something uplifting and spiritual, because I also had a great bedtime routine. The thing is, I woke up without an alarm. I don't need an alarm to wake up. I get up every morning at 4:30, but I go to bed with an alarm. So every night at 8:30, I'm ready to read, and listen and meditate to uplifting and things. You may not be ready for that right now, but just do one of those things. Read, listen to some music, listen to something uplifting, and 30 minutes unwind for bed instead of watching TV or an iPad in bed. That will help you sleep better, which will only help you physically and mentally better the next day. So that routine took about 3 months for me to really get into that routine, because one day you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, the next day it's 10:30, the next day it's 11. You can't be all over the place. You have to go to bed, try to at a set time every day. And that's what I tell some of my clients now. Don't pick a time you're not going to make. If you're going to bed at 11 o'clock every night, go to bed at 11 o'clock then. Just make it from that point, because it's not a matter of getting more sleep. It's a matter of getting better sleep. That resonates with people. Okay, I don't have to get more sleep, so I have to go to bed earlier. I can get better sleep. Start with that. So if you're going from 11 to 5 and only getting 6 hours or whatever have you, get a better 6 hours. And you'll be surprised to see how well your day goes from getting a better night's sleep. So that's huge as well. Like I said, there's so many things.
Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate that. That's definitely some great information, great knowledge. I want the second point. I want to kind of get some clarity on that. So you mentioned going to bed. You say setting the timer for 8:30. So between 8:30 and what is the time you typically go to sleep?
Yeah. So what I'm saying to all of you in your audience, if they're if they go to bed at 11 or 10 or 10:30, whatever, 30 minutes before that time,
Gotcha. Okay.
Lock in. And that's hard because now you got to shut everything down and you got to go do a routine and read uplifting, inspirational material. The best things you can find in the world are in silence. And I struggle with that. Because I talk so much, as you can just see right now, but also, when I sit down, because this is the chair that I reflect in with my nightly prayer, I'm looking at the Blessed Mother and Jesus, and sometimes I just have to unwind for a minute. And if I can spend 1 minute in silence and then just control my thoughts as to where I want them to go and be, that 1 minute can make a huge difference. It really can. And it can turn into 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 10 minutes down the road. That silence is magic. It's magical.
I want to let's talk about mindset mastery. What inspired you to begin this journey and why?
Yeah. So when I got fired, I said, well, I got to find a job. And there was nothing really appealing or uplifting because I basically was my own boss. You know what I mean? I was doing my own thing. I had a lot of freedom. So I still wanted that. So I went online and started an online business, and I developed some courses and things, but it was nothing it was affiliate marketing. There was nothing really that fulfilling until I came across Bob Proctor, and he really edged me to what I really wanted to do, was to be a public speaker. To speak and to motivate and help bring out the best in other people, and really help others bring out the best in themselves. So that gave me the platform to stand on. And Kevin Robinson helped me with a program that he had. He's a public speaker. He does a great job. He's very dynamic, and I got involved in that. And that's at the time with Bob Proctor, I became a consultant of his company, of helping people achieve more and overcoming challenges that were interfering with their achievements. And that really married each other with my speaking, my experience, and my coaching, if you will, business, so to speak. So that kind of all three verged and merged together. And it really has enabled me to start the mindset mastery, which truly is improving yourself by investing in yourself. And whether it be from coaching from me, or being turned on to particular programs for myself, or even turned on to some other programs that might be beneficial to you. And I mean, I've turned people to other things, and it's come back to me down the road, whether from them or from somebody else, you know what I mean? So I'm not afraid to turn people away, so to speak, in the sense that what makes sense for them right now, you know what I mean? A module-based program may not be what you need right now, Cedric, right? So I'm going to gear you to what makes sense for you. And if I can't find it in my arsenal, I'm going to direct you down the road, and who are some people you might be able to, get in touch with and look on YouTube and get a taste from them, So that's kind of how I started, mindset mastery, so to speak.
Yeah, thank you for this conversation. This was so awesome, Paul. I want to do this. If someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Yeah, for me, the best way has been my social media platform. My name, Paul GENCARELLA, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. But also my text line is really, people text me and ask questions or whatever, and I can turn them into the right direction. So that's probably the most potent is my free text line. Amazing.
On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much, sir, for taking that time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Amen.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.